Dhikr, the Remembrance of God, by M.R. Bawa Muhaiyaddeen, narrated by Sabil Mer. Chapter 2, Part 2, a continuation of the explanation on perceiving the dhikr, pushing out your nafs, and one-pointed concentration while becoming one with God. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now the current has reached the Qalb. Once the power reaches that motor and the switch is turned on, the current flows out through all 4,448 blood vessels and is distributed to the 18,000 universes that lie within. Your inner televisions, radios, telephones, lights, and other things which work on this electric current can now function, and you have instant access to every station within you. If any station malfunctions, you will know at once. If there is a problem in some country or a breakdown somewhere in any of the factories, a telephone message will be received instantly. Or if there is a war in one of the countries or heavy rains, gales, or cyclones, you will be able to see it on your inner televisions instantly and send someone to rectify it. However, all this can be achieved only if the dhikr is done correctly with one-pointed concentration. There will be no success if you let your focus wander here and there. It will be of no use at all. Only if the senses have been brought under control and the 7 states of awareness are functioning and one-pointed concentration can you truly pray. This is not the focus of the prayers done in temples, churches, or mosques. There you can be alert when you choose. You can let your gaze wander, or you can even be talking to your neighbor during prayer. But in this prayer, every aspect of you must be focused on the one point, God, not straying to any other point. Nothing must deviate, even the slightest. Your breath, your speech, your sound, the music that comes from your nerves, your blood vessels, and your bones. Every one of these must be unswerving in its concentration on the one point. This is the state you have to be in when you are doing the dhikr. Then every one of the 43,242 breaths that you take each day will be a prostration, sajdah, at the feet of Allah. It is not easy. Initially, as you begin to practice the dhikr, you should concentrate on the process by which, using the breath as a pump, you draw up the unwanted impurities within you and push them out. All of the bondages we inherited at birth, the 5 senses which are the trapdoors of illusions, the karma of our birth, our faults and sins, all these have to be pumped up and pushed out. These impure waters of the karma of our birth must be drawn up from the pit of our birth, the hell from which we were born, using the breath, the dhikr of La Ilaha should suck out these foul waters along with our impure qualities and actions and send them out saying, go away. In the Illallah part of the dhikr, divine analytic wisdom contacts Allah, who, the power which is wisdom within wisdom, draws it forth as a current and establishes it as Illallah, which is the light of God. First, divine analytic wisdom sifts and removes the unclean substances of birth, karma, and maya, and pushes them outside, saying, La ilaha, there is none other than you. It draws up the 5 elements along with the aspects of maya, connected to them, and expels them. After separating off and discarding all that is unclean, it makes contact with that which is truth, that which is wisdom, within wisdom, that which is perfect purity, and draws the current, that power, along with it. As divine analytic wisdom carries this power along, assisted by feeling, awareness, intellect, assessment, and subtle wisdom, the Nur, the light of God, which is divine luminous wisdom, checks to make sure the current is flowing as it should. The Nur keeps checking to see whether the current is flowing properly and reaching the various stations, the nerves, the muscles, skin, bones, and blood. Finally, as you say, Illallah, divine luminous wisdom, takes the current safely and deposits it in its final station, the inner heart, the Qalb. This dhikr can be called true prayer or prostration only when all 7 levels of consciousness, feeling, awareness, intellect, assessment, subtle wisdom, divine analytic wisdom, and divine luminous wisdom are focused one-pointedly to monitor the flow of the power. If the eye wanders somewhere other than that point, the whole thing is lost. If the mind strays, or if feeling or awareness or intellect or assessment or subtle wisdom stray, it is lost. All 7 states of awareness must stay focused. This is the way the dhikr must be done. When one is correctly performing the dhikr in this manner, if he is stabbed or shot, he will not know it. The shot will not strike him. The stabbing will not pierce him. Lightning will not strike him. Question: Will he just not be aware of it? Will it not even touch him? Bawa Muhaiyaddeen. He will not be aware of it, nor will it touch him, for that is God. That is, the man is no longer there. Only God is there. At the time that he is experiencing that power, he is God. When his state of prayer is such, he is God. This is the true state of prayer. If anything were to die at this time, it would be God. Whatever happens to the man at this time happens to God. He no longer exists. There is nothing, only God. Thus, if he has been performing the dhikr correctly, the blow cannot strike him. When gasoline comes in contact with fire, it is the gasoline that is burnt up, not the fire. Similarly, when anything falls on that point, it is burnt. When one is in a state of true dhikr, any danger that comes toward him will itself be destroyed. This is Sufi Gana. This is prostration to God performed 43,242 times each day. This is a state of merging with God and the state of God, man, man, God. In this state, man contacts God directly. Only in such a state is it true prayer. It is both salam and salawat. Man gives salam to God directly. Assalamu alaikum. Ya Allahu. May peace be upon you, O God. And God replies with the prayers. Alaikum assalam. On you too may there be peace. Man says, O merciful one. Ya Rahman. Alhamdulillah. All praise be to you. And God replies, Alhamdulillah. I give praise to you. This is true prayer, where man knows God and prays to him directly, contacting him at the place where man and God are merged. This is the point. This dhikr is done in two parts. La ilaha and illallah. Talking about it is easy, but doing it in exactly this way is extremely hard. However, if you do succeed, you will realize the state of man-God and God-man. The I will be nothing. The I will not exist. It will be God worshipping God. You may ask, how is it possible for man to become God and God to become man? But at that point, man does not exist. Only God is there. As soon as one understands this, he realizes that he is nothing. Man says, I am not, only God is. When we say man, God, God, man, the meaning is that when man is not there, only God is. And when God is not there, only man is. If the I is not present, then God alone is present. But if God is not there, only the I is present. Only God can worship God. At this stage, man does not exist. The I does not exist. Thus, there is no mind, desire, or intention. Everything within him has become the nature of God. At this time, it is a current station, not a Maya station. If touched, only current will come forth. What exists now is a power station, not a station for mind or Maya. Anything that touches it will be burnt and flung far away. This is the stage of Illallah, the first stage, which is La Ilaha, pumps up the karma of this birth and pushes it out. The La Ilaha is carried on the breath while the Illallah is drawn along on the current. This must be experienced and understood. The dhikr should be done in the way I have explained. You need to get a hold of that point and carry it to your feeling and awareness. The correct way to do the dhikr is to draw it with your breath in silent concentration. But when you are beginning, there is no harm if the words La ilaha illallah are spoken audibly. The movements of the dhikr should first be known within feeling and awareness. Intellect should be aware of which places it is passing through. When the movement of the dhikr touches the hair follicles and the nerves, they should feel it and vibrate, just as the violin string vibrates and produces music when it is plucked. Bawa Muhaiyaddeen demonstrates. This is how you should perform the dhikr. Sit properly and start with La as you send the breath out through the left nostril. As the breath reaches the back of the tongue, the La continues as La ilaha. While awareness is carrying the dhikr along, divine analytic wisdom says, La ilaha, other than you there is nothing, and pushes the impure breath out. Feeling, awareness, and the other levels of consciousness should be aware of whether the sound has moved along. The master musician will know it when the nerves are being strung by the dhikr and go ting, 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 like the strings of the vina. The one who is an expert in that music will recognize the melody, the rhythm, and the tune. That Umayyan alone will know. Question: who is the Umayyan? Bawa Muhaiyaddeen. God. He is the silent one. the one who does not speak, the one who has studied this music. He alone will know the song, the thought, the intention, the wisdom behind the strumming done in silence by the one doing the dhikr. Only that expert musician will be able to identify and distinguish those sounds, the beat, the melody, and what instrument it is. This is the music of prayer, and only that professor of music can understand it. When the dhikr reaches the tip of the tongue, the flute will send out the sound la, which will resonate in all places. As the sound is separating by the flute, that musician will hear the la ilaha. The separating of that sound from the breath is affected by a fluttering of the eyelids, a flare of the nostrils, a twitch of the temples, and a quivering of the angles of the mouth, and all on the left side, in the same way that a flutist moves his lips and makes facial movements in order to produce the fine tones of the musical notes. As we then take the breath in on the right side, saying Illallah, divine analytic wisdom, the sixth level of wisdom, makes contact with that which is wisdom within wisdom. At this time, the perception of the eye, of feeling, of awareness, of intellect, of subtle wisdom, and divine analytic wisdom should all establish contact, while divine luminous wisdom checks to make sure they do. All the inner senses, the point within the eye, the point within the ear, the point within the nose, the point within the tongue, the point within feeling, the point within awareness, all of these should make contact with the place contacted by wisdom. Not this outer eye, but the point within this eye must touch it. Not this outer sense of smell, but an inner must go and touch it. Not this ear, but an inner ear. Not this mouth, but an inner mouth. Not this heart, but an inner heart. The qalb, where it must be installed, must go and touch it. When all of this has been done, when divine analytic wisdom, after separating and casting out all the unwanted things, has entered and touched that which is truth, that which is wisdom within wisdom, then feeling, awareness, intellect, and subtle wisdom should focus on it with concentration. While they all are observing carefully, divine analytic wisdom, looking intently at it and checking it, must pull it along, as if with pincers. All the others must be watching attentively. As divine analytic wisdom checks that current out and draws it along to enter the right nostril, you must be perceiving the awareness that is monitoring you. Everything must be checked as this current goes along. From the nostril it goes to the kursi, the eye of wisdom, in the center of the forehead, halts there and then spreads out through the brain to reach the arsh, at the crown of the head. From the arsh it descends to the tongue, where it causes a vibration which brings forth the sound Illallah. Then it goes beyond and is seated in the qalb as Hu. O God, you are Allah. You must bring forth the sound from that inner musical instrument and observe it with your awareness. While divine luminous wisdom is checking the flow of this current, all the levels of consciousness must jointly be watching closely to see which cities or stations the current is flowing to from the qalb. This must be monitored by all the states of inner perception, the inner eye, the inner nose, the inner ear, the inner tongue, the inner qalb, the inner perception, inner awareness, inner intellect. All of these must closely monitor the flow of the current which is illallahu. It is only when we look with this inner subtle perception that we will see the 18,000 universes within us. Our focus will not be in that realm. This process may be compared to that of a king being conducted through his kingdom. All these forces that are concentratedly focused are like the king's commanders, vigilantly observing his every move along the route. They must not look there, here, and there. They must focus on him alone. Similarly, as divine analytic wisdom conducts the king god from the arsh to the qalb, all his guards, feeling, awareness, intellect, assessment, and subtle wisdom are watching closely. Divine luminous wisdom is the supreme commander, maintaining overall supervision of the king's forces and his journey. All the while, an inner eye should be looking, an inner ear listening, an inner tongue speaking, an inner nose smelling, and an inner qalb functioning. All these guards must constantly check where the king is going, the route, the area that he is traversing, how he is progressing, etc. A very close check must be maintained until he is conducted to his seat, the innermost heart, the qalb, saying, Illallahu, you are God. Having installed the king in the innermost heart, the commander, the Nur, turns on the switches in order to check all the stations to which the king must go, the nerves, blood vessels, muscles, and so on. This is the dhikr. Thus, when the current or light is settled in the innermost heart and the power is switched on, it will be distributed to all the 15 worlds instantly, as well as the 12 stations or openings in the body. The power that goes to these stations, the Arsh and the Kursi, will reach the 18,000 universes within us. You should do the dhikr in this manner. Bawa Muhaiyaddeen demonstrates. You must learn to concentrate pointedly while doing the dhikr. The salam of Illallah as well as the La Ilaha should be done in the way I have described. The tip of the tongue should be able to isolate the breath and split it away. This discourse should be checked and typed up in a copy given to every child in the fellowship. They should follow these points in their prayer. Let a copy be given to the children who are praying here in Sri Lanka. This is not for everyone. Send a copy to the Philadelphia Fellowship and tell them this is how they should perform the dhikr. Those who are here should also follow this point by point. This is not a matter for public distribution. What I have just described is true prayer. Question. We are keen to sit like you, to sit and do the prayer in the same way you do. Bawa Muhaiyaddeen. You say so now, but putting it into practice is another matter. Questioner. No, Bawanga, we do not want to do it that way. We do not want to lose time. Bawa Muhaiyaddeen. Then you must gather here at the right time when I am awake and not do anything in particular. If you gather around, I will instruct you and help you practice. You must sit as I do. You must breathe as I have described, and focus your attention one-pointedly. After you have practiced it in this way, then later you can do this prayer at any time, even while standing or walking. Once you have thrown out the unwanted portion and have trained awareness and divine analytic wisdom to establish contact with that which is wisdom within wisdom, with Illallah, the divine analytic wisdom will continue it automatically. It is that simple. Until that happens, you must practice. However, you may find it difficult to control your mind and fix it on the desired point of focus. Therefore, only if you learn to concentrate all your forces with care, faith, and certitude will you succeed in performing the dhikr correctly. If without focusing on the point you will allow your mind to stray here and there, then it will not be dhikr. Only if you focus and your senses come together at that one point will it be dhikr. When the king is setting out, all the commanders should be in attendance, there and in control. That is how the dhikr must be done. All the levels of consciousness, feeling, awareness, intellect, assessment, subtle wisdom, divine analytic wisdom, and divine luminous wisdom should be there. The inner perception, not this sight but an inner seeing, not this hearing but an inner listening, not the senses that perceive the world but the inner nose and inner tongue. All these should be checking on the dhikr. If you have attained this state, your physical eye will not see. The inner eye will be seeing and perceiving an inner vision. The outer eye will be open but blocked from seeing as though anesthetized. The nostrils will be still inhale and exhale, but the senses of smell will be absent. There will be an inner sense of smell drawing another fragrance, blocking out the odors of the world. The outer ears will still be there, but they will not hear the sounds of the world. They will be hearing another sound from a different place. In the mouth, the tongue will be the same, but unable to speak, as if anesthetized. The inner tongue will be communing with another source. The heart and mind will function as before, but an inner qalb will be functioning at a different level. Thus, in this state, the entire body stays as it was before. The eyes, the nose, the ears, the tongue are all there, but unaware of the world, anesthetized. Awareness is directed to an inner level, and so the senses cannot function in the world. Another level of awareness is now functioning. The sights and sounds and odors of the world are no longer perceived. The qalb is not in the world. Such is the restraint with which this dhikr must be done. We have to subdue our senses and perceptions to this extent in order to do this dhikr. This is the true prayer, wherein all the king's commanders stand at one point, not scattered around and functioning in the world. This is the way you must perform the dhikr. This alone is true worship. If faith, certitude, and determination are functioning steadily, the external senses will be anesthetized. If you have reached the correct point of concentration, your ears will not hear any outer sounds. If you begin to do the dhikr correctly, those ears will not hear. The outer eyes will have lost the power to see what is there. The sense of smell which perceives the odors of this world will be absent. The tongue will have lost the power to respond to the speech of the world. The mind, the heart which runs after the desires and attachments of the world will not function here. Only God will be in command. The only speech at that time will be the direct communication between wisdom and God. All the other sections, although not dead, will cease to function. They will be closed off, anesthetized. This prayer done in this state of inner focus is true prayer. It is the original prayer. What I am describing is not prayer done through the senses or with the mind. It is not a prayer done by earth, fire, water, air, or ether. It cannot be done through magics or mantras. It is not the kind performed by the various religions. It cannot be done with racial bigotry, caste discrimination, or dogmas. This prayer can be performed only with the point of Iman, the firm faith, certitude, and determination that there is nothing but God. It is a prayer performed as wisdom within wisdom. It is the dhikr in which wisdom searches for and finds that thing which is wisdom within wisdom. The prayer which discovers the one to whom awal dunya and akhirah belong. The prayer in which we find God through God. It is a prayer in which God is realized through His truth. God is realized through His qualities. God is realized through His actions. God is realized through His patience. God is realized through His contentment, shukr. God is realized through His inner patience, sabr. God is realized through His tawakkul, giving all responsibility to God. God is realized through surrender to Him. God is realized through His word. Kalama. God is known through His speech. God is realized through His innermost heart, Qalb. God is worshipped in the temple that He built. He is realized through His own name and His word. There is nothing else other than me. There is no God. God is realized by the essence of purity of the light called Din. God is realized by the light called Islam. We discard desires, Ishq, and realize Him by the light called Lam. God is realized through His revolutions. God is realized through His sound. God is seen through His sight. God's fragrance is realized by His own fragrance. God is realized by speaking to Him with His own tongue, the tongue of Iman. We commune with Him through His own heart, Qalb. This is the dhikr. This is the dhikr I have been talking about. Unless you have this conduct and have reached this state, the dhikr cannot be done properly. This dhikr, La ilaha illallah, is the original point. It was God's word in Nati, before Ati. It was the word that emerged even before creation. This is the word that emanated from within Him prior to the creation 200 million years ago, given as divine instruction to the light that emanated from Him. It is the word that was revealed in the time before creation when God existed alone as Himself. This was the word given as instruction to His representative, the Nur, the complete perfect light that came from within Him. This word resonated as the explanation at a time when lives were just being manifested as the lights of atoms before they were given forth. This was the word given before awal, the beginning. It was the atoms that manifested from this word that became the creations. The magnetic and electrical currents that issued a sparks from this word became the 6 kinds of lives. When you initially analyze those 6 kinds of lives, 5 of them will be as seen as earth lives, water lives, fire lives, air lives, and ether lives. Color or light lives such as the sun and the moon. The 6th life, the human soul, is God's ray, a resplendent ray from His light, the Nur. The human life is the power of God. It is a complete power. It is perfect. This life, the human soul, is endowed with the 7 levels of wisdom: feeling, awareness, intellect, assessment, subtle wisdom, divine analytic wisdom, and divine luminous wisdom. This is the life known as Adam. When you who have this life which is from the light of perfection, the Nur, come to examine with the light of that wisdom the 6 kinds of life, you will see that they are really feeling life awareness, life intellect, life assessment, life subtle wisdom, life and divine analytic wisdom life. When that 6th life, the divine analytic wisdom life, the perfect complete life that came from the Nur, moves inward to touch that which is wisdom within wisdom, the other 5 kinds of life should also be assembled there as commanders. Divine luminous wisdom, the commander in chief, which is the light of perfection, the light of Nur, monitors this. Only when all 6 standings as one focus on and continue to check the dhikr will it be the true dhikr.